Hala, what are we doing here? No, I'm just kidding. Welcome everybody to another Who the Heck Are We episode. Clara Manzano here, your host. And true to our brand, who the heck are these guys right here with me on the stream for this one? Very familiar names, we could say. So for we have Juan Chocuna, of course. So we can mention, of course, where people are from in school. So Juancho is from UP. Juancho, you want to give a quick hello?
Hello, hello. So glad to be here. It's my first time here, and I'm glad
Mm-hmm.
to be on board this season.
And we will push you into the fire. But don't worry, because I will also do the same to my brother Jego, who is below right here. Jego, like me, was the sports editor of the Lasallian, and then Jego naman, like me, are from DLSU. Yes, Jego is my brother, okay? But we did find out we are not related to Cedric Manzano, yung fan favorite ng Adamson. But Jego, hello. You have to unmute yourself, by the way. Yep.
Hello, I'm Diego. I proudly go by Clara's brother. But no matter what happens, Kuya, you're always my favorite si Manzano.
Oo nga pala, oo nga pala.
Yes.
Oo, yeah. Pero at the end kami ni Diego, Aldo's brother. Okay, so we've been posting a lot as of late on Who the Heck Are We? And I don't want any of you to go, oh, walang buhay si Claro. Siya nagpo-post lagi nanonood ng games. Or, yeah, that's it, actually. That because we also have Diego and Juancho who signed up in a way to cover UAAP men's basketball games for Who the Heck Are We? We've evolved into this hardworking team. Well, we were always actually a hardworking team, but we have new members now in the family. And sorry, guys, I forgot to bring out the código. But don't forget to like and share the stream. Jago Wancho, bring out your phones, share this on your respective walls and Facebook also. Para ano,
Okay.
yung fans nyo mag-tune in also. To the people who are viewing this also, just let us know what you think. We're talking UAAP first round men's basketball hoops. So I wanna get to it, of course. Um, I've been covering games also for UAP as a commentator for men's football, men's basketball, and junior high school basketball. Sorry, um, not used to saying that. And then, of course, Juan and Diego been doing helping out the men's basketball. Also, I would also do PFL to add. So these guys are also students, and I've been boosting the Who the Heck Are We I don't know who the heck are we page and just giving you your content just to make sure that you guys could have fun. Let's get to it, Jago, because you're my brother. I'm gonna push you into the fire first.
Okay.
What do you have to say so far? First round, top of mind.
Um. Well, so top of mind, this season 87, I'd probably have to say it's been one of the most balanced tournaments we've seen for a while in the UAP, maybe since the early 2010s. And when I say that, it's because going into any matchup, you never really know who's going to win. Or you at least know it's not going to be a blowout. Because every team in the league right now has a chance to win every night. You know, there's a game day. So it's not like other tournaments like you can see a game and go like, oh, tambak na yan. Or you say like, oh, this team's too strong. Because yeah, I think now more than ever, the league's more competitive than it's been. So yeah.
Okay, and you're saying that we're halfway in, no? So we've seen a lot of things go already. Wancho, it's your turn. What are your initial impressions this season? You've covered a great number of games too, of course.
I have, and I'm thankful for the experience. So, to echo what Diego has already said, I think some words that I would use to describe the UAAP season so far are surprising, unexpected, and different. I think my earliest memories of UAAP were the years where Ange Kwame really dominated, and so to not have any team that is like that this season, it's fresh. All these teams, like Jacko said, anyone can beat anyone, and yeah, so far after round one palang, every team has at least one loss, and I say surprising because with preseason rankings and all that, they just haven't gone the way that people planned or the people thought it would be. Like it's played out a lot more different. And to that, I say it's great. It's great that the league is this way, and I hope the same for round two.
All right, well said from you guys. Because I think we could say this because this is our page naman. when I talk to my brothers after games also, and I also talk to friends, let's face it, a lot of us grew up watching Pokemon, right? Or even playing the game. So how do you put it this way? There's a triangle. Teams beat each other. There's water, there's grass, there's fire. Simplify it, pero pag UAP, gawin mo 8 teams. Sometimes a team is able to beat the other, and then the other team's able to beat the third team, things like that, you name it. So that's one way to put it. We've said it, or we I can say I've said it a number of times also, to add to like people saying it's very competitive, right? Sobrang dikit, because if you have an off day, you're gonna pay the price. We've seen that happen a number of seasons already. And going back to what you're saying, watching Panoni Kwame, right? Because there's a season where Ateneo just went undefeated, right? That's why you're coming off of that. Let's get to it. We'll take turns. You guys will be going first, or who will be going first? Juancho, ikaw naman. Who stood out, or what stood out to you? One answer from UP, because you're still a student, and then one answer that's not your schools, but San hindi Lasal, because there's Lasal representative through Diego up above me, right? So
Yep,
the floor is
yep.
yours.
I think that two of the standouts of UP so far have been the vet and the new guy. The vet being JD Kagulangan and the new guy being Quentin Meliora Brown. So I believe that they've been two of the most consistent players so far in the league, and especially for UP. JD has played 5 out of the 7 games that UP has played, and even after missing 2 games, he is ranked second in the MVP race. And QMB, like, man, where would UP be without QMB? Because like UP's big the big rotation of UP, like it hinges a lot on what QMB does in a game. Like the 6'10" frame, the wingspan, the hustle, what he brings to the table is unlike anything that we've seen from a local or a non-foreign student athlete from UP. Whether like before this year, whether it was Diouf, whether it was any of the FSAs before Diouf, Akweti, like QMB brings something super different to the table, and that duo has been really just very important and essential to the success of the team. And
Then yeah, go ahead, Juancho. Outside of UP, and let's make it outside of LaSalle, no?
of course, yeah. So outside of UP, we have to talk about the surprise of the tournament so far, UE, spearheaded by Welo Lingo Lingo. I was there. I was there during the UE versus Adamson game, and boy, was I lucky I was there, because he really turned up in that second half. Uh, he was hitting threes. He's been hitting threes, like even against UP, even against LaSalle. He's really blossomed into a great player. It's his 3rd year. I didn't even realize that it was his 3rd year in the UAAP already. And he's a vet now. He plays a lot more composed, a lot more mature. And he's proven that he's more than just a shooter. He rebounds well. I think he leads the league so far in steals. And he's catapulted UE to where they are now, which is the 3rd seed after round 1. So big props to him. Big props to the UE team so far. And their success in the second round hinges on him, but it's been a collective effort because Momowe has been there. John Abate has blossomed also. I think he's a veteran also this year, and he has his jump shots improved. He's gotten more minutes. Then you could say, to a certain extent, they're not missing Ramoga too much with all the new recruits, Maga, and yeah, the blossoming of these people. It's been great.
Yeah, well said. Lingo Lingo did talk about his commitment to UE, people coming and going, and he just said he wants to stay put because Coach Jack Santiago gave him a chance. Diego, your turn. Who or what stood out? You give an answer for LaSalle and then an answer outside of LaSalle, because yeah, that's the school where you're studying in.
While we're in the topic on UE, I'd just like to say that the biggest thing that stood out to me. Wait, sorry. So yeah, while we're in the topic of UE, the biggest thing that stood out to me is their emergence as a dark horse. Because I think some might have called a lack of front court depth hasn't really been exploited as much as we thought it would after that opening day loss to UST. Because outside of Fikes and the Momoe, they don't really have bigger guys who could play that 4 and 5. So I think it's really interesting. I agree with Juancho. And let's just see if this run of theirs could keep up. I really think it could. I think under Coach Jack, they really developed the good culture. I think a system's really taking place. Yeah. So going to LaSalle. So I'm from LaSalle, and the biggest surprise here for me is JC Makalalag. So by now, I think he made his debut in season 84. This should be his, I'm not sure if it's his third or fourth year. In high school, he was known for his defensive play, but this season, he's been emerging as an offensive option for DSU because he can hit open threes, he can finish them. And recently, we've been seeing him working the in between a little bit with his lefty floater. So, as a LaSalle student and as a long-time supporter of the team, I hope he has more of that in the tank because recently he's been an excellent two-way option for the Green Archers. He's been doing it efficiently too. He averaged 53% from the field. I think that's on 2 points field goals. In the first round, he's been averaging near 7 points per game. So that's actually the third highest. Yeah.
Yep.
And yeah, so and for my answer for what stood out to me outside my school, yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with Wancho for UE.
All right, sige.
In the while ago, yeah.
Anything else you wanted to add, Jago, or you're good for UE?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
we discussed the points already.
Yeah, the reason why there's a picture of Kevin Kiambao for the benefit of those, of course, is because Kiambao's their lead man, and obviously basketball is a team sport. So who's gonna be able to support Kiambao? So one of them, Jago's pointing out in JC Makalalag. And then for me, I will look to give answers outside of that already, and I'm actually having a hard time. I have to go. I'm surprised at Ateneo going 1-6. Tama yan, 1-6. I expected better from them, obviously, because Ateneo has that winning culture also. And I can say, even objectively, two teams who really have that strong support. There's LaSalle, there's Ateneo. They have that from the community. And when they have bad years, what will happen to LaSalle or Ateneo? We've seen in the past. A bad year by their standards is scraping into the final four and then maybe making it or not making it as the fourth seed. We've seen that happen before to the two teams. And for Ateneo now, you're 1-6. So obviously, I believe in the magic of Coach Tab, but of course, it's a very tough rebuilding year for them. If you're 1-6, Jago, you and I talk about this. One, sure you can chime in also if you want. But if a team wants to make it into the final four, they have to win about 9 or 8 games.
Yeah.
Yep.
And 9 games, but Ateneo are 1-6. So the best case is they go 8-6. And eight wins at the end of the season can sometimes get you into fourth place. Sometimes it can get you to fifth, and then my playoff ka to finish to get that spot. So that's the answer that I will give. And then who else impressed me? Obviously, Precious Mom Waster. Right? I don't want to repeat answers. I just want to add more to that list. But you do have Moton Kara with the way he's playing for UST. His numbers do not lie, and his impact is definitely there. Those are my two final answers. And then the honorable mention ko na lang si, who's this guy? That's Konate for FEU, right? But I'll go with Tonkara here. You see his skill set. He has that soft touch also around the rim, so that's been good for him. And obviously, he's gonna be big with Nick Caballero if they want to carry on that push into the final four, right? UST is seeing light at the end of the tunnel in a really good way already. So if you guys recall, right, it's been tough for them pandemic onwards, but this is the chance already for them to bag some results that they want already. And then let's get to the next one. Most intense game of the season. So I think you guys will obviously answer LaSalle UP because you covered that in person, so you'll get to talk about it. Can you guys also come up with another answer? For me, yung pambato ko, I will be talking about games I covered, whether it be in the stadium or me like on live stream doing commentary. But I will add to that list because at the end of the day, I think we could agree if we add something right there. Juancho, you want to do the honors? Matik lang dun LaSalle UP, di ba? Okay. talk about it, and then maybe you have another game you'd like to mention also.
I think that we can call the LaSalle UP game intense because of the crowd that it had, but was the game really the most intense this first round? I wouldn't put it in my top two. So for me, there are two other
Okay,
games that I found a little bit more intense. One of them was Adamson UE, which happened last when was that? I forget. But
it's good.
when it happened, it was the round closer for the two teams, and it was just big shot after big shot in the fourth quarter, and you could call it a come from behind victory because at the 3-minute 20 mark of the fourth quarter, UE was down by four. Adamson was Adamson was with their defense, like it seemed like too big of a hole, even if it was just four. But they were able to come back and missed shot na nga yung kay Muling Tapang. But to the rescue comes Welo Lingo Lingo. And what does that do? That brings UE up to the third seed and it puts Adamson at the fifth seed. Like, look at how much could have changed had Lingo Lingo not been able to get that rebound. Like, standings would have been very different after that game. Like, I recall in the venue, UE fans were shouting, the UP fans, Manalo nyo na. Like, oh, so it was before the UP game. Yeah. They wanted UP to win so bad para UE could be second place at the end of round
Hmm.
one, but it just wasn't gonna happen. It wasn't meant to happen. Then my other option for the most intense game has to be Ateneo versus FEU. So as mentioned in the other questions, it's been a struggle for these two teams so far in the early goings of the season. FEU had a 5 point lead with 2 minutes left, and then they just went cold. Ateneo was able to hit two free throws, I think, and then they're able to tie the game with a great three, like an unexpected three from Sean Kitavis. And they had every opportunity to win the game in regulation because Chris Porter had maybe 3 or 4 attempts from three that he just wasn't able to convert. But he had so many chances. Could they have gone for a two? Maybe, but they decided to go for a three, and we played overtime. Overtime, Joric Bautista game takeover. Like FU fans and I think UAAP fans can agree that that was the Joric Bautista game, and like wala, parang FU played better in their games after that Ateneo game. Like they haven't won again since then, but you can see the fruits of the efforts of the coaching staff with Coach Sean Chambers. You can see that they're headed in the right direction. What he said in press con interviews is that we look scary. Like when we figure it out, we'll be scary, and you can see it. You can see it early on, especially headed by the rookies, Pre and Pasol, and yeah, with Konate in the mix and with Bautista to keep things steady, FU has a pretty good core moving forward. Let's see what happens to them in round two.
So it's a UE Adamson game and then the FU Ateneo game, right? There you
Yeah,
go. The way Joric Bautista was playing gave shades of all of these FU guards, Tolomia, Garcia, you name them. Such a long list. And then Jago, go ahead. So interesting, no? Once you're not putting the UP game with LaSalle or any of the other games, which anyway, Jago, floor is yours.
Um, okay, so me personally, I wouldn't put the DLSU UP game among the two most intense games this season because even though there was that third quarter altercation, I'm gonna have to agree with Wantra that the two most intense games. Well, no, on the first one, UE Adamson, because what Wantra said earlier, it's really just the stakes because had Adamson won that game and they were leading for most of the game before that final end game, and and what we saw with Lingo Lingo's crazy game winner, the putback turnaround jump, double clutch turnaround jumper. So because had Adamson won that, it would have been 4-4. We'd be looking at a very different Final Four picture right now. I think it would be a sorry, not. I think it would be a three-way tie at 4-3 for the third seed. So that would have been really interesting. So in that sense, yes, that is the most intense game. But I think another candidate, UE DLSU. I know you were there too, Kuya Claro. Hard to forget that one because
Yep,
you
good
could
game.
because it was really a David versus Goliath story. It was, even though from LaSalle, I support them a long time. What as a basketball fan, you could tell what it meant to UE, and actually anytime it's a UE DLSU game, you can always expect a good game because this UE team, they never back down, and LaSalle entering as the reigning champion, and well, they weren't really that engaged in the game, but you could see how hard they were going towards the end. They were just trying to pull the game back, but UE, they show that they're here to win, they're here to compete. So, yep, those will have to be my two entries. But to add to the FEU Ateneo game that Juancho was talking about, yeah, I just think it was crazy what Bautista was able to do that game, because before he even made his move, like you could tell it's going in. Like he was so confident, and you could tell the trust that the younger guys had in him, and the trust that Coach Sean Chambers had in him. So yeah, it's nice to see the progression of Dirk Bautista. So from being like a young spark plug for FU to now what was all in prayer we're calling him Kuya Jorik. So yeah,
That's true.
yeah, it's been exciting. Back to you, Kuya.
Oh, yeah. So there's definitely some games that I want to include there, but I said like I don't want to repeat answers. It's parang challenge lang, no? Let's make it a good list because there's so much that's been happening and going on. I will add. I was there to cover for Who the Heck Are We? I was off duty, so it was Adamson versus NU. Hand tattoo, man. Joshua Yerry. See, I almost forgot his name. There. So this was a 6:30 p.m. game on a Wednesday, right? So the games end a little late, so there's a little less people sometimes. As I like to give a good evening to our good friend Chio Liwag.
Thank
Chio,
you.
feel free to chime in, no? Just comment also. Two intense games or most intense games this season. Feel free. So yeah, you have a nice room by the way, Jago. Josh Royero, I said this game did see it went back and forth. I think Adamson had the lead heading into halftime. NU took a short lead, took a small lead also, at least in the third, and then it went back and forth in in the fourth quarter, especially in the ending. Montebon played well for Adamson, and then and then to add, as we see a picture, Kenshin Padrones who stepped up big time because sadly NU are without their foreign student athlete, right? I think Diasana, and then it's an Araneta with not too many people. Understandably, ganun talaga yung mga Wednesday games, right? And I'm here, I'm just enjoying the game, covering also. Sometimes you get the living room vibe because you have like maybe 4 or 5 seats to yourself in Araneta. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it's just that moment. And then point three on the clock, it became Adamson ball. Buzzer beater na, alley pa. And we got the video to post on our Who the Heck Are We page. So that was fantastic. Siyempre, when you feel the passion also of schools. So in this case, it was Adamson. But you gotta feel for NU also,
Yeah.
right? But these guys put up a show. So I'm putting that on my list. To our list. And then I have to include UE, that win versus Ateneo. So I covered that game on Smart Livestream, and that was a defensive grinded out game. If you guys got to see it, and if you guys got to see the box score,
Mhm.
and Diego, you pointed out, Precious Mamoy played 40 minutes, diba?
Yeah, and these are for
Even
10 minute quarters. That's what zero rest. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Hindi to 48 ha.
Mm-hmm.
Sa mga nanonood ng NBA. It didn't go to overtime, but that was such a game because I covered that game with Baki Manuel, former Green Archer, who's also an analyst now for UAAP broadcast,
Yeah.
and he said, "UE are a very good team in 3-point shooting.
Yeah.
Ateneo, they're a very good team in removing the 3-point shot. So it's possible, right? Sorry, because our neighbor's dog's barking. People hear that in our previous episodes too. So in theory, you could say the defense would beat offense, but UE found a way because they kept playing through Momoway. Yun nga, they didn't let him rest. And we've seen a lot of high scoring games lately because I'd like to think players are getting better. The game is evolving, right? Better training practices, just coaches, trainers learning year after year. So credit to them, of course, because they're just raising the game of basketball, Philippine basketball as a whole. And then that's my answer. Do you guys want to add anything else to that one? Yeah, that list.
Uh, well, I think
Give the shout out first to Robles.
evening Miguel Robles, my former sports editor at the Salyan. Yeah, I owe him a lot. I'm very grateful. Hello, Robles. And and some would argue is the best number 9 in Bridgetown open play Thursday evenings. Always a goal threat. Yeah. But to add background, Kuya, about that Ateneo and UE game, because I was with Wancho and we talked to Precious before that, and he said in the I don't think it's been released yet, but parang we got the topic of football, and he said that he plays football and he's a striker. So I think we could see, you know, uh, the effect that football has had on him, being able to go that 40 minutes. Yeah, because in football, maybe, right, Kuya Claro, I think you're well known for your work in the space of football. So those are 90-minute games. So maybe for Mamoy, maybe 40 minutes is just less than half of what he
First,
could. Yeah,
first
so
half
maybe
na lang yun sa football.
yeah, maybe if we did go into overtime, he could have kept going. So
Uh-huh.
uh,
Yeah.
you
Well, we could tell the UE football coach, Coach Frank, that when we could join their team, pero sabay na basketball and football as a
yeah.
first-time sport. Once, is there anything you want to add to that game or anything under the sun in this first round? No, dami nangyari.
It's hard to pinpoint any other super intense games, but really, I think that any UE game has had some sort of charm to it. Like they've shown us talaga that they can do it. They can hang with the best of us, best of the league, and their core with these new players and even with their veteran players, like they have a lot to offer. And your hope is that this time it sticks because the last time UE uh, was beating LaSalle. LaSalle, I'll say beating LaSalle because that was a couple of seasons ago. That was the core of Villegas, Stevens, Remogat. So like it only lasted a season. So your hope is that this core can last maybe past this year and shock people. If not this year, then next year and the years after.
Then once you do have a quick fire round with Precious Momoy, so we're gonna release that in a bit.
I do.
Let's save it for that one, right? Some of the answers were pretty good. And I've watched it a number of times. I think ako yung nag-edit doon.
Yeah.
If I recall correctly. Anyway, we'll get to it eventually. Also, hold up. Second round expectations from you guys. Wancho, you want to go first? Because I think Jago went first the last time, if I recall correctly. Anyway, the floor is yours. What do you expect here, second round?
Well, there's not a lot of unexpected things I can say about LaSalle in particular. I think that their performances after the shock loss to UE have really woken them up, and I don't expect them to lose again. Uh, UE, UP might give them a challenge in the second round, but man, LaSalle is just hitting on all cylinders because when you have to worry about other people that are not named Kevin Kiambao, when you have to deal with Joshua David shooting, when you have to deal with the post work and the rebounding of Mike Phillips, Andre Dumo and Raven Gonzalez barely even played in the first round matchup against UP. And EJ Goliana was only inserted in the fourth quarter, and he still made an impact. So that just shows you that LaSalle is really deep and they all can contribute to winning. So that's what I expect from LaSalle. From UP, I think that in the immediate future, so this Sunday, we're going to be really hungry after losing against LaSalle to end our round one campaign. With JD
Mm-hmm.
back, I think that the offense will look a bit smoother. And I think that the rotation is just going to be like, it's going to be better again. It's going to be, with it being more complete, like we can expect the UP that was able to win their first 6 games or well, their first 5 games when JD was in the lineup.
Mm-hmm.
UST for me, still formidable with the roster that they have. I've been impressed with the quote unquote others because Padrigao has taken the lead, and Tunkara has been a focal point. I like the role of Cabanero this season. I think that if he's able to become a little bit more efficient, then the sky's the limit for that trio in UST. Then they have all these other players on their roster that have contributed well. Mark Lemet has turned into a great shooter, and who else? Ice Danting. Ice Danting has also been a shooter. So both shooters in the wings, like UST's lineup is not what they had in any of the other post-pandemic years. This is a special year for UST, and UST fans should be flocking to the arenas to watch their team. I have
Yeah, as
similar
we
comments.
said.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
go ahead.
I have similar comments about FU and NU. I think that after round one, they're well adjusted, and in the case of NU, they're adjusted already to life without a foreign student athlete. Yeah, foreign student athlete. Kenshin Padrones, PJ Palacielo, the two of them have been incredible, and even their wings, who are a little bit shorter, like they play a lot bigger than they actually are. Jake Figueroa and Jola Manansala can jump out of the gym, out of like 10 out of 10 times, and we've seen it. Like they've had a lot of they were the ones that lost to Adamson. They were the ones that lost
Mhm.
close to a number of other teams. So it's just the bricks of the game that have to go their way because we know what NU is capable of as Final Four finishers the past 2 years. Yeah, they miss Omar John, but the work that Padrones and Palacielo have been doing is something that makes them still scary to face, regardless of what their standing after round one is. Okay, so for the last two teams, Ateneo. Ateneo, we can say that this season is their chance to for the rookies to learn, and those rookies spearheading the learning process are Jared Bahay and Chris Porter. So they've gotten their reps, they've gotten their minutes. Porter has learned from the FEU game that okay, maybe I need to be able to shoot a bit more. So he's had his chance, and Bahay gets a lot of attempts. So the two of them talaga are the future of the Ateneo team. They still have the steady vets to guide them. Chris Kuhn, I don't think he's missed a mid-range jumper all season. Kiteves can teach them all the defensive skills that they need to succeed in the league. And like even Joshua Lazaro, one of their we can call him a veteran this season.
Mhm.
He has improved drastically. He's hitting threes, he's hitting his free throws, he's fighting through contact, he's rebounding well. So his growth is also a testament to how good Tab Baldwin is with developing his players. And finally, Adamson. So Adamson, one thing you'll get from them every game is their good defense. And I think through their first 7 games, they've shown it. Their defense has been good. Um, when it's Ojerica in the middle, like it's really intimidating to go up against that because it's a block almost every time waiting to happen. And I think that in their last 2 games of the round against UP and against UE, their offense was starting to come alive. So as long as it's able to stay like that or something similar close to it, then they have a chance to compete with the top heavy teams in the league. And they have a chance to beat the teams that you could say are like near them in the standings, like the teams that they quote unquote should beat. Yeah, they have the tools needed to beat them this time around.
All right. Well said. Very detailed there. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that one. Jago, on to you. Would you have expectations, whether it be a surprise or something, you name it? You want to zoom it in? Your call on how to take this.
Well, I don't think Wancho could have ran it down any better, but I just have two takes for my second round expectations. So first, this might not surprise others, but I think I'm locking in Jared Bahay as the UAP Rookie of the Year. He was the leading rookie in the statistical points, but in the second round, in this last in a big game versus FEU and a big game versus UE, he averaged 10 points and had around six assists with only one turnover in each of those games. So I think in round two we're gonna see a better Jared Bahay as he, pun intended, feels more at home in UAP. So I think he'll be averaging more than 10 points per game in round two. So I'm not saying that he won't have a game below 10, but I think his average will be right around there in 10 points. So yeah, that's my rookie of the year. So even though I'm from Lasal, I think I'd like to show guard by love. Yeah. And
Hmm.
people are saying that maybe the game in Manila is too physical for him. But when he did come here to compete uh in some competitions back in his high school days, like the national tournament in MOA. Like he showed that he could compete among the best in the country and among the best, Phil foreigners. I think it's just the normal, how to say this, normal progression. I think any point guard coming into any league, there's gonna be a bit of adjustment. So yeah, very exciting. So even though this might not have been at Neo's best start, I think they have a lot to look forward to in the future behind Bahay. So Wancho UP fan, I'm not sure if you're missing him too much because UP's doing really good, but yeah, definitely need to shout out that. And then another take, I think this one might be a bit more hot, but while we can still say it, I'm gonna lock in that I think DLSU will sweep the second round because they were impressive. Even their, you can argue, even their close games, even their loss to UE, but to me, I just don't think they've been the same tough team defensively that they've shown that they are. They've shown in the preseason, they've shown last season, especially in the finals, that they have their identity as a gritty team and they can really win these rough and tough games and the offense isn't going. So I think once their defense gets going, when the team gets used to each other more, when they get used to these matchups, get to watch more film, I think they're gonna settle into that role. So yeah, that's it for me.
Okay, I will be Captain Obvious and will state the obvious because no one did. UP's gonna be fired up with that talent.
Oh yeah,
They're gonna generate their offense. Because with UP's talent, right, on paper, individual, kung may, let's say, park game ito or pick up UP, and it's just let's play with their skills, right? Let's just say, kunwari, you have that talent, the coaches don't know each other. The players don't know each other, right? Walang coach. Very talented also. I'm not taking anything away from the UP staff, no, but I'm just talking about talent on paper, in theory, because they can just score at will when they want to, right? You'd see these high scoring teams. Let's put NBA for perspective, right? Warriors would do it back in their day. So I think that's something that will really get them fired up. Sometimes it just takes that loss to just get you going. Nangyari na sa Lasal. So this one with UP possibly, right? With sports, we see undefeated teams just go. It's called it beast mode, right? Bounce back. They get hungry because they got hunted by people, who just sometimes, or they get hunted by people who just wanted more.
and I
Diba?
think
They want to dethrone whoever.
oh,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
sorry.
Go ahead.
Even though we're talking about UP in the sense, I think Coach Topek said it best after their loss to UE is that it took away the pressure of not losing because when you're so good, when you have a win streak like that, yeah, you're gonna be focused more. I think there's a tendency, whether it's conscious or subconscious, that they're gonna be focused on
Mhm.
not losing because the magic zero in the loss column, especially in the UAP, right? Big advantage if you're able to get a step ladder in your favor. So yeah,
Mhm.
I think UP is gonna get better, but I think the same goes for the rest of the league. So
Yeah, they're gonna start scouting each other for sure. What you said.
yeah,
Wanchel, you want to add something, or you're good?
You know how Topex in interview says that he refers to UP as the mighty UP, but come on, let's start calling DLSU the mighty DLSU because y'all have shown us y'all finished first after round one, and y'all have shown us that you have everything in your bag, inside, outside game. You have one person in foul trouble. You have someone who's willing to or who's ready to step in for them and step up for them. Uh, UP's bench has not been the most consistent so far. So we look for that to improve in the second round should they have hopes for reclaiming the championship. But I think the first round has shown us, and the expectation for the second round is that it's LaSalle's title to lose, really.
Okay, I liked how you hyped the top two teams. So you're really favoring the top two. So you're giving it a perfect way to just jump ship to the ending. We saw a comment from attorney Charlie Kuna. We're a massive fan actually of attorney Charlie. Yeah,
mhm.
idol namin,
Super big
PBA
fan.
commentator. Yeah. Katabi ng batch namin actually in one of the homecomings. Anyway, let's get to it. We'll add something. Let's become memes. I'll lead the way na lang. Then kayo bahala if you want to change it up. Final four. Ay, sorry. I'll add one more answer pala. Ateneo will be in that hunt to chase Final Four. Magiging Royal Rumble yan. The teams chasing for a last spot
Mhm.
in the Final Four. Royal Rumble or Battle Royale, whatever fits. But if you watch your WWE or watched it, you know. All right. Final Four prediction. I will do it in my... Mahirap to yung order eh. But I do have one or two Matic UP DLSU. UE, I will give the Red Warriors number 3. Number 4 for me, Adamson or UST. But I wrote it down who sino dapat. I think I will give this to UST just by a bit. Just by a bit. Yeah. Somehow. As much as Adamson is a very fun team to watch, I think they have very good playmaking in UST.
Mhm.
You want to modify that list? Who wants to go first? Wancho, do you want to go first?
What
I
you can go
can't
ahead.
modify the list because that's the same four I have, but
Same
the ranking is a
fours.
little bit different. I put
Okay.
DLSU on top because I think that they're going to sweep round 2. UP is second, with UE finishing third and UST finishing fourth. I think that
Okay.
UE edged out UST a little bit because if you recall, UST actually beat UE in round 1. They're one of UE's 2 losses,
Mhm.
but I think that UE is gonna get back the second round and stay ahead of UST. Should UST like lose to the same people they lost to in round 1, yeah, UE is gonna stay ahead of them.
The same, you agree in that way also. Jago, same ba or my hot take ka dyan?
Okay, so I'll get a little bit more specific. So I have DLSU at 13 wins, 1 loss, UP at 12 wins, 2 losses. And then for the third seed, I think it'll be a tie between UST and UE at 9-5.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah. 9-5
Yeah.
can get you tied 3-4 also, right? With
Mhm.
when we think of
Yeah.
like permutations and whatever.
Yeah. So I think in that scenario, it's UST losing to DLSU and UP. So I think the UST second round. I think they lose to DLSU and UP. But I think in the rematch they're gonna be able to. Um, I think who's their third loss to? DLSU UP and I think it was
You remember, Wancho?
Adamson.
Was it Adamson? I think it was.
Yeah, I think it was Adamson. But I think they'll go 9-5 and you will go 9-5, and then so I think that will call for a tiebreaker. And with the overall quality UST has shown, and they've added some veteran experience with their transferees. I think they're gonna lock down the third seed. So UST is my fourth.
Okay. So same nga kami ni Wancho, we just like confirmed it. So can you run through it again? 1, 2, 3, 4 real quick. Jago.
Oh yeah, sorry. So first DLSU, second UP, third UST, fourth UE after a tiebreaker.
After tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, actually, yung tiebreaker for third and fourth is what do you call that? I know becomes quotient or winner over the other. They don't do playoffs. They did
They did that in
in the
18.
early. They did in the early 2000s. 3 and 4 tiebreaker.
No, they've done that for 3 and 4 tiebreaker. They don't. So it's only for the fourth and the fifth.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think
3 and 4. They end up using
tied for 3 and 4. Then.
3 and 4. They end up using. I don't know if it's winner over the other, which is normally the first formula, and then quotient. Quotient is pag triple tie lang eh. Winner over the other yung initial. I remember my tiebreaker game, pag fourth place, any ties for fourth place, or any ties for second place. Kasi may twice to beat, di ba? If you guys remember. Yeah. Anyway, Juancho, you did say the UP team is very hungry. There's a very good burger place outside of the outside of the training facility, the Fighting Maroons. Go to yan pag may football. But I think that does it for this one. I don't want to get too far ahead kasi minsan masyado excited tayo, as we know. Because we'll plan to do one also at the end of the second round to preview the final four. Right? But
Yep.
I think that does it for this one. The two of you, I want to give you the chance. Tell people, yes, you do handle the who the heck are we accounts pag may UAAP game, but where can people find you on social media? Juancho, let's get with you first.
Hi. So on Facebook and Instagram, Facebook Juan Shokuna, and then on Instagram _Juan Shokuna. Yeah,
All right,
that's
that's where
really
you
it.
go, guys. Yeah. Oh, my shout out. Jago, your turn.
Um, yeah. So I just shot on my Instagram. It's at Diego Manzano, like how it's spelled here, but no space, all small, and the last O is a zero.
All
So
right, there you go.
if you haven't liked and followed Who the Heck Are We on other platforms, IG and TikTok, that's where to go.
Ayun,
Yes, sir.
thanks, thanks. Thanks. So I don't have to say that part anymore. That does it for this one, everybody. That was a lot of fun, of course. It's been football lately. Who the heck are we? But we're adding basketball also to the mixed men's basketball. I think we'll sign off from this one. See people at the games. We'll see people. We'll talk about the final four when the second round concludes also. I'm excited. Royal Rumble yan. Fourth seed. Bye, everybody. That does it for this one. Okay.